fun එක next level කරන dialogue fan blaster.
Tonight, on First at 9 this Wednesday the 25th of December 2024. Merry Christmas! Christians and Catholics across Sri Lanka celebrate the dawn of Christmas. The Archbishop of Colombo emphasizes the importance of mutual respect as a foundation of a harmonious society. Rest of the world joins Sri Lanka in celebrating the birth of Christ. Pope Francis calls for a swift conclusion to conflicts around the world as Christmas in Bethlehem takes a somber mood amid the war in Gaza. Seasonal greetings. President Anura Dissanayake urges Sri Lankans to unite during the Christmas season to build a nation characterized by humanity and freedom. Prime Minister requests the public to contemplate the true meaning of Christmas. Increased benefits. Gazette notification issued to announce the monthly payments for Aswasma welfare beneficiaries in 2025. Monthly allowances for poor and extremely poor families increased. Path to the future. Sri Lanka must address the flaws in the education system to boost the workforce in the ICT sector by 2030, says the acting secretary to the Ministry of Digital Economy.
Chilo Dairy, Sri Lankawama Kiren Perata. ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසින් ලබාගත හැක.
කන්ට පරිස්සම් කරගත්තොත් අපි පරිස්සම්.
Asian Paints Causeway Aquasafe වැස්සත් මට්ටුවෙන් ගෙදරත් තිස්නේ.
This is Ada Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to Other Derana First at 9. I'm Tarindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest developments of the day while wishing you all a Merry Christmas. Christians and Catholics across Sri Lanka joyfully welcome the dawn of Christmas, celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ with peace in their hearts. This year, Christmas brought light and colours to homes and streets across the country as people embrace the festive spirit despite the challenges of the recent years. Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, in his Christmas message, emphasized the importance of mutual respect as a foundation for a harmonious society in Sri Lanka. At the stroke of midnight, Christians and Catholics throughout the country celebrated the birth of Jesus Christ, who is revered as the Son of God, the Son of Man, and the Saviour of the world. Amidst the celebrations, the country continues to progress towards economic recovery. Despite enduring challenging years, the public embraced the joy and peace of the Christmas season with open hearts. Streets and buildings in Colombo and across Sri Lanka were beautifully adorned with colourful lights. Fireworks lit up the night in some areas, adding to the festive atmosphere. The main midnight mass was held at Our Lady of Sorrows Church in Jayala under the patronage of the Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit.
ජේසුස්න් වහන්සේගේ වරප්‍රසාදයත් දිව්‍යපියාණන් වහන්සේගේ ප්‍රේමයත් සුද්ධාත්මයන් වහන්සේගේ සහභාගීකමත් ඔබ සියල්ලන් සමග පවතිවා. නවීන මනුෂ්‍යත්වය කල්පනා කරන්නේ ධනය පිළිබඳව පමණයි.
Modern humans often prioritize wealth over humanity. It is not just love we need to share, but also respect, especially for those who are marginalized by society. We must respect every individual because it is through others that our lives gain meaning. Once, during a lecture to senior students, I asked, "What would you do if everything in the world was destroyed and only you remained?" One student quickly replied, "Father, if that happens, I would take my own life because I cannot live without others." This shows that none of us can live in isolation. In Sri Lankan society, we must learn to respect one another.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ සමාජය තුළ අපි සෑම කෙනෙකුටම ගෞරවය දැක්විය යුතුයි.
Meanwhile, a midnight mass sponsored by the Derana Media Network was conducted by the Auxiliary Bishop of the Colombo Archdiocese, Reverend Bishop J.D. Anthony, at St. Sebastian's National Shrine in Kandana. The founder of the Derana Media Network, MP Dilith Jayavira, and other dignitaries participated in the mass.
අපේ රට තවම දිලිඳුන්ගෙන් පිරිච්ච දේශයක්. මිනිස්සු කන්නට නැතිව බොන්නට නැතුව කොච්චර දුක් විඳිනවද මේ නත්තලේදී. අපි දෙන තරමට තමයි නත්තල අපිට එන්නේ. නත්තල තියෙන්නේ හදවතේ පමණයි.
In keeping with the spirit of Christmas, a lunch was provided to the needy at St. Anthony's Church in Kochikade, continuing an annual tradition. The program was conducted under the patronage of the Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit. Meanwhile, the annual Senehase Nattala program was once again launched by Manusat Derana this year. In collaboration with Maliban biscuit manufacturers, Manusat Derana organised the Senehase Nattala program to support children facing hardships in Jaffna. Around 45,000 police officers and military personnel were deployed across the island to ensure the safety of churches on Christmas Day. Meanwhile, the Prisons Department extended a special opportunity for inmates to receive visitors openly on this festive day. Additionally, a total of 389 inmates were granted release in light of Christmas.
Union Assurance.
Welcome to Cinnamon Life, South Asia's biggest entertainment hub, where awe awaits.
චන්දුරුසුමේ කාගෙන් මනාපේ සිග TV සඳහා සුපිරි ඩීල්.
Sadaharita Plantations Limited, celebrating 22 years of your trust.
Aspirations Education, a pioneer in overseas education. Meet our experts at top destinations worldwide. Your trusted and caring partner in overseas education.
Crunchy goodness for hunger on the go.
Meanwhile, Christians and Catholics across the globe too welcomed Christmas with a festive spirit. However, Christmas celebrations in Ukraine were interrupted by Russian strikes on the capital Kiev. Against this backdrop, Pope Francis, in his Christmas Day message, called for swift action to end all ongoing conflicts around the world. Meanwhile, Christmas in Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus Christ, took a somber tone amid the ongoing war in Gaza. It is the belief of Christians and Catholics that Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem on Christmas Day 2024 years ago as the Saviour of the world to redeem mankind from their sins. However, Christmas in Bethlehem this year took a somber tone amid the ongoing war in Gaza. Christmas Mass at the Church of the Nativity was held amid heightened security. Meanwhile, a group of Sri Lankans sang Christmas carols in Bethlehem. Meanwhile, in Vatican City, Pope Francis inaugurated the 2025 Jubilee year, which has been dedicated to the theme of hope by ceremoniously opening the Holy Dose at St. Peter's Basilica. Afterwards, the Supreme Pontiff presided over the midnight Christmas Mass, during which he called for swift conclusions to all ongoing conflicts around the world.
E ce ne sono tante desolazioni in questo tempo.
There is so much desolation in this time. Think of wars and children being machine gunned, bombs on schools and hospitals. Don't delay, don't slow down, but let yourself be drawn by the good news. This is our task, to translate hope into the different situations of life. Because Christian hope is not a happy ending to be passively awaited. It is not a happy ending of a movie, but rather a promise of the Lord to be welcomed here and now in this land that suffers and sighs. It therefore asks us to not to tarry, not to be kept back by our old habits, and not to linger in mediocrity and laziness. Brothers and sisters, this is the Jubilee. This is the season of hope in which we are invited to rediscover the joy of meeting the Lord. The Jubilee calls us to spiritual renewal and commits us to the transformation of our world so that this year may truly become a time of jubilation. A jubilee for our Mother Earth, disfigured by profiteering, a time of jubilee for the poorer countries burdened beneath unfair debts, a time of jubilee for all those who are in bondage to forms of slavery old and new.
Lo diventi per tutti coloro che sono prigionieri di vecchie e nuove schiavitù.
In the meantime, Christians in Gaza celebrated Christmas despite the ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, Christmas celebrations were interrupted by Russian attacks on the capital Kiev's energy infrastructure. Meanwhile, Ukrainian troops celebrated Christmas on the front lines of the conflict. Meanwhile, in Paris, the Notre Dame Cathedral conducted its first Christmas Mass since its restoration after the devastating fire in April 2019. Britain's Royal Carol Service, which was hosted by the Princess of Wales, was held at Westminster Abbey with the Prince and Princess of Wales and other members of the royal family in attendance. In the meantime, festive spirit was observed in countries across the globe. Meanwhile, astronauts on board the International Space Station sent their Christmas wishes to Earth.
From all of us to all of you, Merry Christmas!
Fast track your career from O-levels with eSoft.
Diabetol, සීනිවලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට අමතක නොවන පෝෂණය.
Prime Group ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වතාවට හඳුන්වා දෙන land leasing ලේසියෙන් මීටමක්.
Single 1111 up to 60% off from the 11th November to the 17th of November.
Kalani wire කිසිගින්නක් නෑ.
කිසිගින්නක් නෑ. Kalani Fire Shield Wire.
Apico Mattress. Summer සමය සැපට නිදියන්න Apico Springs Foam Mattress මාදිලි රසකින්.
Crunchy goodness for hunger on the go.
President Anura Dissanayake, in his maiden Christmas message since assuming office, called on Sri Lankans to come together during the Christmas season to create a beautiful nation filled with humanity and freedom. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya requested that people reflect on the true essence of Christmas: togetherness, gratitude and peace. President Anura Dissanayake, in his maiden Christmas message after assuming office, said Sri Lanka stands at a crossroads requiring a transformative social revival, adding that it is a moment for the citizens to unite, acting with determination, resilience and courage to achieve the shared vision of a prosperous nation and fulfilling lives for all. President Dissanayake called on Sri Lankans to pledge to build a strong, stable economy, ensure social justice and uphold a political culture rooted in democracy and integrity. The President added that together with firm resolve, a beautiful nation filled with humanity and freedom can be created. In the meantime, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, in her first Christmas message after being elected to office, said, as Sri Lankans celebrate this joyous season, they should take a moment to reflect on the true essence of Christmas, togetherness, gratitude and peace. The Prime Minister added her hope that this season inspires people to foster connections, strengthen resilience and dedicate themselves to unity and understanding. Meanwhile, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, in his Christmas message, said that at this critical juncture, as the country grapples with economic challenges, Sri Lankans must come together in the spirit of brotherhood, reconciliation and love, setting aside divisions of race, religion, class or political affiliations. The opposition leader emphasized that such unity is crucial for the collective progress of both the nation and its citizens. Acting Secretary to the Minister of Digital Economy, Varunashri Dhanapala, says Sri Lanka must first acknowledge the shortcomings of the country's education system from school to university level in order to increase the workforce in the ICT sector by 2030. Speaking at an event in Colombo, he also mentioned that being a neighbour of India, Sri Lanka can expect many opportunities in the ICT sector in the future. Sri Lanka's MMBL Pathfinder Group recently launched the Pathfinder EdTech Institute, a collaboration between the Pathfinder Group and India's HCL Technologies. The partnership is set to transform IT upskilling in Sri Lanka by delivering world-class employment-focused training programs.
It is the talk of the town, the digitalization, as well as the upcoming challenges posed by industrialization and the technology itself, like AI, machine learning, and all kind of things need the society to be ready with these skills. One is to absorb and to utilize this technology for the maximum benefit of their socio-economic well-being. On the other hand, to prepare our next generation to be a part of this new era. We see a lot of potentials being a neighbor to India. We learn from the Indian example of how a multilingual country like India was spearhead in industrialization, agriculture, education and all aspects by way of converging all these societies by language. The other leverage was IT. It was the knowledge input that is having a huge potential of maximizing the value addition. That we need more and more skills to the industry. It is not a rosy path. We have to admit the shortcomings of our school education, university system as well as industry relations.
HCL Tech decided to move here because we thought there is talent and people are there who understands technology and want to work around technology. In fact, many of my customers asked me, Sri Lanka, serious, can you build capacity and capability? I do believe a country which is very resilient, capacity and capabilities are never an issue. That is what we discovered here. It's important to understand how we move from a regular education to competency-based skilling. India has discovered it very early on. One of the things I do believe this country can focus is the new national education policy that India has promoted. You need to know that 50% of your graduation programs can be offered by industries.
Our president, in his address to the 10th Parliament, he stressed the point that this country needs to generate 200,000 IT trained staff by the year 2030. And I'm sure we'll be getting all the support from the Minister of Digital Economy or whichever the institutions are dealing with this, so that we will have a very productive, talented youth in the country for the development of the country.
A Gazette notification has been published announcing the monthly amounts to be paid to Aswasuma welfare beneficiaries in next year. The previous Gazette notification, which was issued by former President Ranil Wickremesinghe on the 17th of May 2024, has been revoked by the new notification issued on the 21st of December 2024. Under the new Gazette notification, the monthly allowance for poor families has been increased from 8,500 to 10,000 rupees, while the allowance for extremely poor families has been increased from 15,000 to 17,500 rupees. The allowance for other groups remain unchanged. Payments under the previous scheme will continue until the 31st of December for beneficiaries whose payments have been delayed due to various reasons. Additionally, applicants who are yet to be selected for the scheme will be entitled to payments once their eligibility is confirmed. The remains of late veteran singer Priya Surya Sena have been laid to rest at his residence in Gangodawila, Nugegoda. Priya Surya Sena passed away yesterday while receiving treatment in the intensive care unit of Colombo National Hospital. A devoted father of four, he had been unwell for some time and was in his 80th year at the time of his passing. Fans whose hearts were touched by the singer's remarkable voice as well as fellow artists were seen gathering to pay their last respects. The remains of the late Priya Surya Sena will be placed at the National Broadcasting Corporation premises tomorrow from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. The remains will then be moved to a private funeral parlour in Boralla, where they will remain from 6 p.m. tomorrow until 3 p.m. on Friday for the public to pay their respects. The final rites will be performed at the Boralla Cemetery on Friday the 27th at 4 p.m. Welcome back. 62 employees of the Ceylon Electricity Board who were suspended for participating in protests against the privatisation of the board under the previous government have been reinstated with all privileges. The decision followed a special directive issued by Minister of Energy Kumar Jayakodi. The CEB trade unions launched a protest campaign in January alleging that the board was being privatised. In response, the then Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana Wijesekara, instructed officials to suspend employees who had avoided duties during the protest. However, under the new government, incumbent Energy Minister Kumar Jayakodi has ordered the reinstatement of the employees, the restoration of their privileges and the cancellation of disciplinary transfers. The employees met with Minister Jayakodi yesterday. Issuing a statement, the Alcohol and Drug Information Centre has expressed concerns over the proposal by the Commissioner General of Excise to reduce alcohol prices. According to the Information Centre, this proposal aims to increase alcohol consumption by lowering prices under the guise of curbing illegal alcohol sales, which will be beneficial for alcohol companies. The statement cites the World Health Organization, which advocates for higher taxes on alcohol and tobacco as an effective strategy to reduce consumption, and emphasizes that raising excise taxes is a scientifically proven method to decrease alcohol use and prevent new users. The ADIC also highlights alcohol consumption as one of the 4 primary risk factors contributing to non-communicable diseases. In Sri Lanka, approximately 50 deaths per day, totaling to nearly 20,000 deaths annually, are caused due to alcohol use. The ADIC stresses that the harm caused by alcohol can be alleviated by ensuring proper alcohol tax collection and combating the illegal alcohol trade. And with that, here's a look at some more local news across the island in brief.
Former President of the Sri Lanka Podujana Education Services Union, Wasantha Handapangoda, has passed away. Reports suggest that she succumbed to a sudden illness. She had been hospitalized while visiting her daughter in England, where she was receiving treatment for 2 days before her death. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board has announced that the water supply to several areas in the Western Province will be suspended for 18 hours starting tomorrow morning. The interruption will occur from 9 a.m. on December 26th to 3 a.m. on December 27th to facilitate urgent repairs due to a breakdown in the main transmission line. The Sri Lanka Computer Emergency Readiness Team has reported a sharp increase in online scams during the festive season. Chief Information Security Officer Nirosh Anand stated that there have been numerous complaints of scammers making phone calls to consumers, falsely claiming they have won prizes. Additional complaints have also been received regarding various issues involving AI technology. Sri Lanka police have announced that legal actions has been taken against 8,747 motorists for violating traffic laws in the past 24 hours, including 251 individuals caught driving under the influence. In line with the instructions from the Acting Inspector General of Police, the special island-wide traffic operation to reduce road accidents will continue throughout the festive season.
In business news, Hambantota International Port reported a modest increase in cruise ship arrivals in 2024, primarily from the European countries. The port's chief executive officer expressed optimism, stating that this momentum is expected to continue into next year, with an increase in arrivals not only from Europe but also a resurgence from the Indian subcontinent. In a statement, the port acknowledged that while there was a noticeable decline in cruise ships originating from the Indian subcontinent, there was a significant rise in arrivals from Europe. Of the 23 cruise ships that called at HIP during the year, only 6 were from India, compared to 17 liners from Europe. The last 3 cruise liners to visit HIP in 2024 were the Florida-based MV Azumara Pursuit, MV Celebrity Millennium managed by Prudential Shipping, and MV Silver Whisper represented by Colombo Shipping. Commenting on the year's performance, the CEO of Hambantota International Port Group said the evolving dynamics of the cruise industry reflect a renewed interest in diverse and unique destinations like HIP. In 2024, the port observed a strong trend of European vessels exploring South Asia, underlining the growing demand for culturally rich, off-the-beaten-path destinations. He said the Hambantota port anticipates this momentum to continue in 2025, with an upward trend in arrivals from Europe as well as a resurgence from the Indian subcontinent. HIP Group CEO further stated that this aligns with broader industry trends indicating a robust recovery in cruise tourism driven by pent-up demand and increased consumer confidence. The statement concluded by noting that Hambantota International Port aims to solidify its reputation as a premier destination for luxury liners in the years ahead. And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining. Have a Merry Christmas and a good night.